You are getting ready to leave the house or head to the airport. You glance back at your desk, laptop, phone, headphones, even the power bank, and beside all of them, there is only one cable. 10 years ago, that would have sounded almost absurd. It feels like a tiny convenience in everyday life. But in reality, this oval-shaped connector is the sign of a much bigger technical revolution than most of us realize. It does not just carry power, it replaces the role of almost every other kind of connection port on Earth. So, why did USB-C win the entire game? Was it because of its easy-to-plug shape? Or because of the secrets hidden inside its 24 pins? Today, we are going to decode this universal cable right here. Welcome to Everyday Things Explained. One cable? Let us go back to the 90s. Back then, computers looked like a military checkpoint. A separate port for the mouse. A separate port for the keyboard. The printer used one huge port. Each thing did one job. Nothing was shared. Then USB arrived. A promise of unity. It made connecting devices much easier. But as devices started getting smaller, that promise began to fall apart. Do you remember? Phones used micro USB. Cameras used mini USB. Printers used the square-shaped TYPEB. External hard drives used that strange double-headed connector called micro B. At that point, the problem was no longer, do we have USB or not? The problem was this. Even though they all shared the name USB, they did not share the same shape, did not share the same function, and created an extremely exhausting experience. A lot of people think USB-C was created only because companies wanted everything to look more modern to match thinner phones. But that is not what really happened. USB-C arrived because the old model had already hit its limit. It simply could not carry the pressure of modern technology anymore. Why USB wasn't enough? What is the most famous thing about USB-C? You can plug it in either way. That is smart design. It solves that annoying moment of flipping the connector back and forth in the dark. But that is only the convenient outer layer. Its real power lies in the architecture of the 24 symmetrical pins inside. This connector is no longer just a simple electrical wire. It is a multitasking interface. In the right configuration, this same port can do three things at once. 1. Deliver power. 2. Transfer extremely high-speed data. And 3. Output 4K video, even 8K. Most important of all is power delivery. In other words, power negotiation. In the past, charging was one way. The charger simply pushed power into the device. But USB-C, it can talk. When you plug it in, the charger and the device begin to negotiate. The headphones will say, I am tiny, just give me 5 watts. The laptop will say, I am under heavy load, send me 100 watts. And the newest standard today? It can deliver up to 240 watts. USB-C did not win because it looks good. It won because it turned a physical port into a calculating brain. What USB-C really changed? But if it is that good, why did it take nearly 10 years for the world to truly come together around it? The barrier was never technology. The barrier was money. Apple is the clearest example. They were one of the earliest companies to bring USB-C to the MacBook in 2015. But on the iPhone, they kept the Lightning port for another 8 full years. Because a proprietary standard brings absolute control. Every cable sold, every third-party pair of headphones manufactured, Apple had a share in all of it. The game only truly changed when the European Union stepped in. They did not look at USB-C through the lens of technology. They looked at it through the lens of waste. Tens of thousands of tons of old chargers were being thrown away every year, simply because people changed phones. And then the law arrived. By late 2024, All handheld devices in the EU had to use USB-C. At that point, USB-C was no longer a choice for manufacturers. It became an obligation. The look, the same trap. But be careful. Because USB-C can do so many things, it also creates a new kind of problem. That problem is this: looking the same does not mean working the same. You might buy a cheap cable at a convenience store. It fits perfectly into the port, but it can only charge a phone. Plug it into a laptop? No power. Plug it into a monitor? Black screen. So here is the most practical advice I want to leave you with. Do not buy a cable based on shape. Buy it based on need. If you use a laptop, look for a cable clearly labeled 60 watts or 240 watts. If you want video output, check whether it supports DisplayPort or not. Ideally, keep 3 main cables at home. 1 all-purpose cable for the laptop, 1 durable cable for the phone, and 1 backup cable with clearly marked specifications. The catch nobody tells you. Now go back to the cable in your pocket. On the outside, it is just a small connector, smooth, symmetrical. But what it really represents is not a new shape. It is the result of 10 years of wrestling with fragmentation. It is the result of ultra-fast power negotiation. It is the result of global standardization pressure and environmental law as well. In other words, USB-C is not just a more convenient connector. It is the cleanest, most compact version of a technology system that used to be incredibly chaotic. And that is a simple thing worth appreciating. Do you still have any strange cables hiding in your drawer? Tell me in the comments. Thank you for joining Everyday Things Explained as we decode the small things around us. And I will see you again in the next stories.